Hello and welcome to Gentle Yoga. My name is Lesley, co-owner of Boho Yoga. Thank you for joining us in our virtual studio. We'll start by taking a comfortable seat today. You can see I've got one mat here, an extra mat, which I'm going to be using like a blanket. I have two blocks. If you don't have blocks, we can always just use the floor. If it bothers your wrist, you can pop yourself up onto your fingers, or you can grab any other tool that you might have in hand to give you some more elevation if you feel like you need to. So finding our comfortable seat, oftentimes this can be the hardest part. If you would like to sit on your heels, that is one option. You can also place a blanket or a block between your heels. This is called Virasana, and long spine here. A chair is also an option, or grabbing something to sit on. Sitting on the very edge with a tall spine. We'll begin our practice by just observing our breath and welcoming ourselves to the mat. Your hands can be wherever they feel most comfortable. You need a sense of grounding. Feel free to place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly as you breathe, or turn your palms down as you gently press into your legs. As you take your mind into the breath, notice how your body changes three-dimensionally each time that you inhale and exhale. And extending upwards through the crown of the head, try and find a tall spine. If at any point you need to move the legs around to make yourself feel more comfortable, feel free to do so. And try and keep the spine as long as you can and remain focused on the breath. We can breathe in and out through the nose here for just a moment. Observing the cooler air moving in and the gently warmer air coming out as we exhale. And then a few breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And two more at your own pace. Inhale. You want to include this with a sigh. Sometimes I like to bring my shoulders up by my ears as I inhale. And then exhale, drop and release. And then I'll begin our more intensive moving practice with the sound of Om. Feel free to join me if you would like. We'll take just a full round of breath here to start. So an inhale and exhale. And if you'd like to join me, we'll inhale for Om. Bringing hands to heart center, and gently lift the sternum, finding a soft space across the chest, and bow gently into the hands, towards the hands. And take a moment in gratitude for making it to the mat, and for this body that we have. On your next inhale, sweep the hands up and overhead. And exhale the hands through heart center. Doing our best to match the movement with the breath. Inhale when you're ready. And exhale, hands to heart. And releasing the hands down to the knees or the thighs, we'll start some Sufi rolls or some torso rolls here. You can make these circles as big or as small as you'd like. You're feeling the femurs kind of move around in their hip socket and observing the orientation of the spine here, finding flexion, extension, rotation. You can add in the shoulders and the head if you'd like. And note which direction you're moving as you slowly come to stillness. And then switch directions. As we build gentle heat here, notice the pattern of your breath with your movements, whether it's a one breath per circle or multiple breaths here, just being aware of what that pattern is for you. When you feel about equal on both sides, we'll come to stillness, feeling the residue of those movements. And as you bring the feet in front, if you are sitting on something, you might want to scoot off that. Step the feet just a little bit wider than the hips, and then we'll let the knees fall side to side. So internal and external rotation here. Often flexing the feet can help to give more stability through the knees. And as we come through center, take a gentle seat again. And just for a moment here, side stretch up on both sides of the body. Inhale the arms. And then exhale, side stretch over to your left. So the left hand's gonna come down, the right hand reaches up and overhead. The gaze can be wherever it feels comfortable, but really extend through the middle finger of that right hand as you root the right side of your hip bone down. Nice, and then breathe into that space. Okay. And we can open the heart and roll the shoulder back as we come to our seats. Inhale, both hands. And exhale, side stretch over to your right. You want to keep a little space between the neck and shoulder, so finding that length of the crown of the head or drawing the shoulder gently down. And then we'll take the hand back behind us as we open up the chest and swing the hands back to the knees. So a few rounds of seated cat and cows. And then a neutral spine. As you extend the crown of the head up, drop the left ear towards the left shoulder. And you can take the right hand out to the right. And if you'd like, the left hand can come to that right temple. Feel free to move the right hand around as you need. You can also bend the right elbow and take the hand to the low back as you roll that right shoulder open. And sometimes that can feel really nice. And take 2 more breaths here, really flooding this area of the body with your breath. And as you're ready, we'll gently take the head back up through center. That left hand might help you. And then rest in center for just a moment. Lengthen the cervical spine and drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. We are not symmetrical beings. We are very much asymmetrical beings. So as we move from one side to the other, it might feel completely different than the side previous. Feel free to modify each of these shapes for what you need today and what you need per side of your body. And gently bringing the head back up through center. Now make your way into all fours. Feel free to pad underneath your knees. And hands can come underneath the shoulders. It can also come onto blocks if you need a little bit more elevation. We're going to focus on moving the shoulder blades here. Our cat and cow, as we drop the belly and lift the hips, I'm going to feel the shoulder blades draw down as I lift the heart and find space across the chest too. As you exhale, pull the belly button gently towards the spine. Press strong into the hands, press strong into the legs as you round the back. And then repeat, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Good. We come to a neutral spine. Just find some alternative movement here. So rolling the hips side to side, looking over one shoulder and then the other, and creating some circles with the head and the hips. From a neutral spine, once you feel evened out, puppy pose, you can either pop up to the fingers or you can have the hands flat as you walk the hands forward and shift the hips back gently. So getting a nice stretch through the back. My arms are active. I'm thinking about wrapping the outsides of my arms like gently down or in, deepening my armpits. And as I lift my head and chest, I'm going to plant my hands, curl my toes under, and lift my hips up and back for downward facing dog. So if down dog does not feel good to you, feel free to substitute that with a child's pose or with puppy, with a maintained puppy, just as what we were in. You can also come onto the forearms instead of the hands. This is called dolphin pose. Great. From our down dog, we're going to make our way up to stand. So feel free to walk the feet to the hands or the hands to the feet. And then bring your hands to your shins, reach your heart forward. Inhale to a long spine. And exhale to fold over the legs, Uttanasana. Feel free to bend the knees. And gently shake the head, yes and no, or side to side. Good. Bring the hands back to the shins. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And now bend the knees, sit the hips back. You want to make sure you can still see your toes, and then reach the hands forward. Feel the outsides of your legs turning on. And draw the belly button gently towards the spine. And then take the hands back behind you and lift the heart. As you exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold over the legs once more, a little deeper. And as you press into the feet, this time come all the way up to stand. You can sweep the hands up, out, and overhead. And then bring the hands to heart center. As you release the hands, we'll come into mountain pose. And then I'm going to adjust myself so you guys can see me a little bit better. But wherever you are on your mat, gently sway the body back and forth and side to side, feeling the four corners of your feet. So the four corners of your feet, we're looking at the big toe mound, the pinky toe mound, and the inside and outside of the heels. And you're pressing down into the ground. We know that the equal and opposite reaction is going to energize the legs. So just as much as you're pressing down, we can feel the energy of the thighs. We can gently pick up the pit of the belly and get length by extending upwards through the crown of the head. And just a little space across the chest, so we're not arching our back here, but we're finding a nice open chest as the palms face forward to start. And the tailbone is long. And you can maintain this position with the palms facing out, or you can rotate the hands towards each other, but try and keep that space across the chest. So just in this standing posture in our mountain pose, we're going to visualize the breath moving up and down along the spine, through the legs into the ground, and from the feet to the legs up through the spine, out through the crown of the head. So just visualizing that for a moment, acknowledging our human condition of being connected to this physical world, but also to the cosmos. And then pressing down into the feet, inhale, sweep the hands up and overhead. Nice. Now here, if you'd like, you can take a little back bend. You press into the feet, the hips might shift forward. Then come to a neutral spine and a side stretch. Release the left hand down, reach the right hand up and over. And pressing down into the feet. On an inhale, take both arms up, lengthen. And exhale, switch sides. Nice. Inhale to come through center. And as you exhale, fold over the legs. On an inhale, look forward. Feel free to place your hands on the ground or grab your blocks and step both legs back and come down to the knees here. Extend your right leg back behind you with the toes in the ground to start. And now lift that right leg right in line with the right hip. So you might lift more from the inner thigh. And then take your left hand to your belly. And feel the strength of your core here, and then extend the left hand forward. Take 2 more rounds of breath here. As you exhale, return to all fours, and then we'll switch sides, taking the left leg back. And strong line through that left leg, strong energy through the left leg. Lift the left leg in line with the left hip. Right hand comes to the belly. You might notice that your body wants to shift way over to the right. So maybe shift it back to the left as you extend the right hand forward. 2 more breaths here. Good. As you return to all fours, we'll take child's pose. The big toes come closer together, the knees come apart, and we sit back towards the heels. So if child's pose does not feel good to you, feel free to place something underneath your knees. That can provide some support, or you can keep the hips even more lifted, walking the hands forward here. So wherever it feels comfortable to you. And let the belly just hang. And 3 big kind of diaphragmatic breaths. The head can relax all the way down, or you might stack the hands on top of each other and support the forehead right on the hands. Imagine the back of your lungs expanding as you breathe here. And at the bottom of your next exhale, we'll inhale to reach the hands out in front. And then lift the head and chest and walk both of your hands over to the left. And then gently fold. So another side stretch here from our child's pose position. You can stack the hands or position the hands wherever you feel like you're getting a nice stretch through the right side of the body. Relax the neck and the jaw. Support yourself however you need here. Check in. Inhale to lift the head and chest, and then we'll walk through center, re-lengthening the spine and switch sides. And this side might be in a completely different position. This hand might be in a completely different position than it was on the other side. Know that that's normal. And stay connected to the physical sensations in the moment here. And as you inhale, walk the hands through center. Shift the hips and take downward facing dog again, lifting your hips up and back. And bend one knee and then the other, get a little calf stretch here. Nice. And then walk the feet towards the hands at the top of the mat, or the hands towards the feet, wherever you need to go. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold over the legs, and then inhale to chair pose, sitting the hips back and reaching the hands forward. Nice. We press down into the feet. Try and imagine that the thighs are gently pushing out against a little band. And as you exhale, go ahead and straighten the legs and bring your hands to your heart. Nice. And pressing the palms together, you're going to feel the strength of your back. So the shoulder blades are gently drawing towards each other. We're picking up the pit of the belly. Good. We're going to maintain that sense of strength as we bend the elbows out to the sides. Good. And then inhale the hands up and overhead. And imagine that you're grabbing onto a bar. And you can't see it, but I'm going to do a pull-up. You're grabbing your bar, and then you're dropping your shoulders down, and then bend the elbows out to the sides. Pull, pull, pull. Take the bar underneath your chin, and then pause there. So we're turning on the sides of the body, turning on our lats, the mid-back, and exhale to release. Nice. Draw the shoulders up by the ears. And then loop them around and press them down. And then reverse that. Drop down, lift the heart, wrap them around, and then forward. Good. One more in each direction, kind of our weird swims. Up, back and around, trying to move the shoulder blades, pressing down, rounding the back, and then switch directions. Up by the ears, and nice. Cool. Going through some range of motion for the shoulder. We'll start on the right side. So that right hand, you're going to inhale it right alongside the right ear. This can be one that your rib cage can try and compensate for you. So sometimes it's nice to take your hand to your belly and just try to feel your ribs, maintain a neutral position as we're here. Very nice. And then we're going to turn the palm away. I'll see if I can step back a little bit so you can see my hand. We're going to turn the palm away from us. Draw a big circle without your rib cage moving. Then take the hands alongside the body. Nice. Now as we reverse, we're coming into extension. I want to feel the strength of the back of my arm and the back of my shoulder. I'm going to turn the palm, creating a large circle. Now I'm alongside the ear again. The palm is facing in. And then I'm going to draw it across my body. And then down. Cool. We're going to do that one more time on the right side. Inhale the right hand up. So palm faces in to start. The rib is neutral. And now draw a big circle back behind you without bringing your rib cage with it. And then here, I'm going to turn the palm so it faces away. And as I extend, feeling the strength of the back of my arm and back of my shoulder, I'm going to draw a big circle here and now across the body. So once the hand's alongside the ear, once the arm's alongside the ear, then I'm just going to draw about a 45-degree angle across the body towards that left hip. Yeah, and then relax. Cool. Switching sides. If you like that assist of the right hand, you can place the right hand on the rib cage and inhale the left hand alongside the ear. And then turn the palm away from you as you draw a big circle back. And then turn the palm away from you and we'll extend, feeling the strength of the back of the arm, the back of the shoulder. And now turn the palm, big circle. Right alongside the ear again, the palm facing in, and now crossing the body with that left arm towards the right shoulder. So a diagonal across the body without the rib cage. Nice, and then release. Last one here on that left side. So after you release, we'll inhale the left hand alongside the left ear. So do what you need to create a sense of ease at the neck as you lift your arm up. And the other one arm might not be able to go as much as the other, and that's fine. We do what we can. We move what we can. Down. Nice. Now I'm going to turn the palm away. Extension. Strong back arm, strong shoulder. And then rotate the hands. Finding big circle. Arm is now alongside the ear. The neck is relaxed. And then across the body. 45 degrees. Holding that. And then releasing. Lovely. Nice. So we'll take hands to heart center. And then gently press the palms down. And rotate the fingertips away from the body, and then point the fingertips down towards the ground. Nice. And as best you can, push into all the fingers, push into all the knuckles, and then try and lift the wrists towards the heart, but keep the shoulders relaxed. And 3 breaths here. Just observing, trying to find ease through the uncomfortable sensations, nice stretchy sensations, whatever it is for you. Good. And now interlace your hands, and we'll do some figure 8s here. Yeah, so just take, yeah, there you are. Some nice wrist circles. So watch the direction that your figure 8s are going in, and now try and reverse directions. Awesome. All right, and now take your hands and gently shake them side to side. Nice. And up and down. And now keep your right hand up and down and take your left hand side to side. And then switch and take your right hand and your left hand side to side. And then just shake out the whole body. All right, doing some ankle work. I try and do these in all my classes. So little ankle circles, right leg. I like to really push down through my toes and draw a big circle so that I'm feeling this through my whole hip. You can also balance and draw your name in cursive. If your name doesn't have a Y in it, go ahead and add one in. Good. And then switch directions. So I'm going to start on the ground. And an option to lift. Write my name in cursive. Nice. And that's a nice standing balance too, working on the stability of the hips. Warming up the knees, bring the big toes together, and then we're going to draw little circles with the knees. It's nice to warm up the pit of the belly. It's nice to just get some movement into the knees in these alternative directions. Switch directions if you haven't already. And then step the feet a little bit wider, or a lot wider. And then we're going to draw some hip circles. So I like to hinge down first and then draw a big circle with my chest, lean back. And again, you can bend your knees as much as you need to here. Take as much time as you like. Okay, so about 3 or 4 in each direction, and then switch the directions as you're ready. And 3. Cool. Now that we're here, so strong bones, adding some trauma is the easiest way without physically jumping to add that type of sensation through the body. So we're going to do these little heel lifts as you lift the heels and then just drop down. Lift the heels and drop down, pushing through the heels. We're just weighting through the heels. Lift, drop, and we'll do about 3 more of those. Drop, drop, drop. Awesome. You can shake that out for a moment. Then coming to the top of our mat, we'll do some little sun salutations. As you inhale, take the hands up and overhead. And as you exhale, go ahead and fold over the legs. On an inhale, come into a halfway lift, and then plant your hands either on the ground or feel free to grab something to place your hands on. Step your right leg back and just pause there for a moment. And try and push through the right heel. Take a round of breath. Good. And now drop the right knee. And start to shift your hips back and lift your left toes. You can plant your left foot a little more forward. Lengthen the spine. So here, if you are using blocks, we can adjust the blocks. If this bothers the back knee, go ahead and place your blanket or fold up your mat there. And breathe along the back of that left leg. Nice. On an inhale, we'll come down to both knees for a moment. And then shift the hips over the knees. And take your hands to your sacrum, this stable area along the low back. So it's right where the spine fuses and becomes part of the hips. We're going to lift the chest and gently draw the shoulders towards each other. A little back bend, so you're shifting the hips forward, you're lifting the sternum up, and the gaze can stay down the nose. Good. As you exhale, go ahead and release, bring the hands forward. From this position, we're going to step the right foot forward. I'm going to have the right foot to the outside of my right hand and then draw some hip circles here. This is one of the best releases that I've found for the low back. And I think that it's a great exercise to loosen up the hip, back, the ankle, and just making sure you go in both directions. From here, taking downward facing dog again, warrior dolphin if you want to come onto the forearms, or feel free to substitute with child's pose or your puppy pose. Good. On an inhale, look forward and walk the feet towards the hands at the top of the mat. And inhale, lengthen the spine. As you exhale, bend the knees, sit the hips back, come through chair pose. And then release the hands to the outsides of the thighs. Good. Push your hips back until you can see your toes. You want to think kind of vertical shins. So I've got a good angle, pushing my butt back, and then my chest is tilting forward just a tiny bit. So I look kind of like a lightning bolt shape. My center of gravity, if I were to draw a line, is right through my ankles. And you can place your hands on the outside of the thighs and just gently push against the hands as the hands push in. And that should turn on even more sensation on the inside, the outside, and the outsides of the glutes. Good. As you exhale, go ahead and fold over the legs, and then we're going to repeat what we just did on the left side. So inhale, lengthen the spine, plant the hands, step your left leg back. We'll pause here in our lunge. So this is often where I like to use blocks. Is pressing strong through that back leg. And then as you take the left knee down, coming into our hamstring stretch on the right side this time, we're going to adjust the right foot so it's in front of us. Inhale to lift the heart and exhale, gently fold over that right leg. Again, we can pad our back knee if we need to at any point. 3 more breaths here. And as you lift the head and chest, we'll take both knees underneath the hips. This time, candlestick pose. So as the hips stack over the knees and the shoulders stack over the hips, we root down into the ground and reach the hands up and overhead. If you'd like, you can take a little back bend here. You can also interlace the hands and push the palms away if that feels good. And then as you exhale, go ahead and bend the elbows, open up the chest, take a big inhale here, open the lungs. And as you exhale, go ahead and release the hands down to the ground and step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Feel free to readjust your right knee and take some hip circles here. Do your best to keep your mind within the sensations of the body. And if your mind begins to wander, go ahead and switch directions, as it naturally will. Avoid scolding yourself as you gently bring your awareness back into your body. We can get curious about where the brain is going without feeling like we need to be mad at ourselves for the crazy things that our brain starts to think. Knees underneath you, and then once again, downward facing dog, child's pose, or puppy pose. So any long pose here that is going to serve you. A nice back stretch. Child's pose is a little more passive. 2 more breaths. And then from wherever you are, we'll make our way back to the top of the mat, the feet coming towards the hands coming towards the feet. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold over the legs. And inhale all the way up to rise. As the hands come through heart center, we're going to take warrior 2. So big step out to your right, and then turn your right toes straight ahead or to the right, and kick your left heel back. So you can be right here, or you can take your stance a little bit deeper by walking the legs away from each other. It doesn't have to be super deep, but you are thinking really strong legs. So wherever your feet are, this tends to be heel. If I draw a line from my right heel, it goes to the edge of the back edge of the back edge of the arch of the back foot. But if this is too narrow, I can widen my stance and give myself some more support there. So strong legs and then strong arms. So if this bothers the shoulder at any point, feel free to release the hands to the low back, but do your best to find traction in some capacity to keep the chest open and to keep the gaze looking towards the right as best you can. On an inhale, reach forward and then turn the right palm up and back for a reverse warrior. Yeah, nice side stretch through the right side of the body. Very nice. Right. And then here we'll come through center. Release the hands. We're going to take warrior 2 on the left side. So turning the left toes to the left. You can adjust your right foot wherever you need to. The left knee, you want to bend it so that when you're looking through the center of the knee, you see that it's kind of in line with the second or third toe. And then you're pushing straight down into the heel, into the foot. And oftentimes it's a nice self-support to place your hand on your back thigh and then push strong into that hand. Nice. And so you should feel that back glute turn on, that whole back leg, and I should feel this whole thigh, this whole left thigh turning on. As I extend my arms, I feel the strength of my core as I push down into the legs. I feel all that energy moving back through me. My neck is relaxed, but my arms are gently toned. 2 more breaths. Good. On an inhale, reach the left hand forward, then turn the palm up and reach it back. Side stretch or reverse warrior. Yeah. And then coming through center, we'll release. Nice. Feel free to adjust your feet as you need to. Typically, the middle toes of the feet are either pointed straight ahead or gently towards each other. But you can play around with how this feels in your hips. Hands on the hips. We start with coming into a little back bend, so the hips shift forward, the heart lifts. And then you're going to take that space with you. I'm just going to rotate so you can see me. You're going to take that space with you. Bend your knees as much as you need to fold. And then you can take your hands down to a support or down to the ground. On your next inhale, find a little bit more length in the spine. You can walk the hands forward as the sternum reaches forward, but you also want to lengthen the inner thighs gently back. And if it feels good to you, you can add in a little bit more depth by walking the hands back and maybe bending the elbows and letting the head relax. A nice inversion to help us flip our perspective. On an inhale, Lengthen the spine, walk the hands forward, and either pop up to your right fingertips or place something underneath that right hand to give you a little bit more length. And inhale to peel the left hand up. If that doesn't feel good in the shoulders, feel free to take that left hand to the hip as you roll the heart open. Yeah, nice. And then switching sides, we'll take that left hand down underneath the face and then peel the right hand up. My hips are shifting over to the left as I do so. Either here or maybe hand is on the low back. As you exhale, both hands down. And then feel the strength of your legs. Hands back to your hips and hinge all the way up to stand. Nice. And then we'll hop the feet underneath us. Beautiful. Inhale to a little back bend. And exhale to fold over the legs when the feet are about hip width apart. You can take your peace fingers to your big toes if that feels good to you. Elbows bending out to the sides. Most frequently, people take their hand down to the ground or maybe grab the back of their calves. Press down into the feet and feel the back line of your body really lengthen here. Nice. On an inhale, take your hands to your shins, bend the knees, sit the hips low, come back through chair pose, and then inhale to stand. Yay. Releasing the hands. We'll come back to the top of our mat. Crescent lunge. Shift your weight from an equal standing point. Feel your weight shift over to your right. Pick up your left leg and step your left leg back. You want to keep the back heel lifted. And if you feel stable, you can walk it back far. If you feel like you need more stability, you can shorten that lunge. Let's take the hands to the hips for a moment. That right hip is gently drawing back. That left hip is gently drawing forward. So the hips are square and pointing towards the top of the mat. On an inhale, extend the hands alongside the ears. If that doesn't feel good in your neck, feel free to take them wider. You can also play with turning the palms down, or bring the hands back to the hips, or just down by your sides. Feeling the strength of your legs here. On an exhale, release the hands, and then tilt forward and step forward with as much control as you can to the top of your mat. Nice. Good. Equal standing pose, then shift your weight over to your left. As best you can, find your balance as you step that right leg back. Nice. And you might wiggle it back a little bit farther if that feels okay. That front leg, you're pushing through the whole foot, but I want you to especially think about that heel, turning on the underside of that front leg, the glute. And then the left hip drawing back gently and the right hip gently drawing forward. You can stay right here. You can inhale the arms alongside the ears. After the bottom of your next exhale, tilt forward so that left hip is drawing back, and with as much control as you can, step forward to the top of your mat. Good. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, and exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. As the hands come down to the ground, step both legs back. Take both knees down to the ground. And then turn the palms back towards the heels. So a little wrist stretch here. And then take the back of the hand to your mat. And the back of your other hand to the mat. Nice. Now swinging the legs off to the side, go ahead and make your way into a seat. Extend your left leg down and bend your right knee. We'll do an open twist. As you inhale to lift the right hand, Lengthen the spine, and then take the your right hand to the outside of your left leg, and take your left hand back behind you, sitting up tall. Nice. 2 more breaths here. Good. On an exhale, we'll come through center and we'll do a quick counter twist. My left hand is going to wrap around that right leg, and then the right hand comes behind you. Sit up tall and start to look over that right shoulder. On an inhale, come through center. Extend both legs out in front. And play with flexing and pointing the feet. Good. And then switching sides, bend your left knee. Plant the foot. Sit up tall. My right leg and foot are still very active. Both of my sit bones are pressing down. You can always sit elevated on a blanket or another mat. You can fold up your mat if you would like to. And then inhale when you're ready. Lift that left hand up. We lengthen the left side of your body. And as you exhale, we'll come across the outside of that right leg. Inhale to lift the chest. And then move the right hand around in order to help you to a tall, open twist here. Open just meaning that I'm opening away from my knee that's up. At the bottom of your exhale, we'll take a counter twist. I'm going to pick up my right hand and hug it around my leg as I take my left hand behind me and twist gently over to the left. And then inhale, come through center. Extend both legs out. And then let the feet come a little bit wider than the hips. Support the hands and move the feet side to side. Windshield wiper. We're trying to feel the connection between the movement of the feet and how they move in the hip sockets. Make some big circles there with the feet. Nice. Good. And from wherever we are, we're going to grab that right foot. I'm going to take my left hand to the outside of that right foot, and I'm just going to cradle, rocking back and forth. This is another really good one for low back pain. Really thinking about using your hands to help you assist that right thigh in moving through the hip socket. You might go both directions too. And then as we find stillness, we'll take a little seated hug. If you want more, if you want this deeper, you might place the foot onto the elbow crease if that's available to you. The hands can interlace, or you can just hug as they see fit. Sit up tall as best you can, and then exhale to release. Switching sides. Holding on to that left foot, so maybe my left hand is wrapping around the thigh, cradling, and then trying to draw circles here as I move that left femur around in the left hip socket. I'm trying to go both directions. And then finding stillness, a little hug. If you want this deeper, once again, bring that left foot towards the elbow crease. Relax the shoulders down. And then release. Use the hands to help you bend the knees, and then take the knees out to the sides as the feet come together, the soles of the feet come together. We can inhale to sit up tall. And then exhale, go ahead and round the back as you grab the knees. And inhale, Baddha Konasana, the knees come out, we lift the heart. And then we'll do 2 more rounds just like that. So the exhale, we round. And the inhale, the knees come down. We use traction to lift the heart. Last one here, exhale to round. Inhale to lift the heart. Good. And then drawing the knees in. We're going to work our way into a quad stretch. I'll give a few variations here. The first variation is lying on the stomach. You can place a blanket underneath the hips if that feels good to you. So our first variation of the quad stretch is going to be coming onto the belly and really lift your right leg and lengthen it away from you, and then bend the right knee. And we can reach the hand up, 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 and back to grab the top of the right foot there. And maybe support the head as you come into this position. So if that position feels okay to you, feel free to do that. If it doesn't, another thing that we can do is come into a little lunge. I'll show that one first. Oftentimes you might need a padding for that back knee. And as you shift forward, you're getting that stretch through there. And you might play with bending back knee, or maybe even grabbing the top of that foot if that feels okay to you. You also have the option of coming all the way up to stand, using a wall. If you need that support, grabbing the top of the foot and pressing down. Sometimes grabbing the foot is not available. And if that's the case, that kneeling one can be really nice. You can also use a strap to grab onto the back of the foot, or I've also placed a foot on top of like the edge of a couch and just walked gently forward until I felt a stretch on the top of my thigh. Okay. So we're aiming for about 10 breaths per side, so about a minute. I guess it depends on how fast you're breathing. Still on that right side. And then as you're ready, you can exhale to release. Whatever position you chose, take a neutral position for a moment. Maybe it's just lying on the stomach. Maybe it's taking a quick child's pose or a down dog. Maybe it's kneeling on both knees. And just breathe and observe. And then preparing for second side. So whichever variation you need to take for yourself, go ahead and take a moment to set yourself up. And if you're joining me on the stomach, make sure you lengthen the legs away first. And then bend the knee. And we can get more space by reaching forward first, doing that arm circle that we did in our warm-up, and maybe grabbing onto the top of the foot there. There's a gentle play of kicking into the hand as the hand pulls the foot towards the glute. And then settle in and find your full breath here. Just observe the sensations through the body. And try to notice how this one stretch affects every cell of the body through this unique pull and shape. On an exhale, go ahead and release. You can shimmy the hips, wiggle the legs. Take your neutral position for just a moment. Relax. Observe. And if you're not on your stomach, go ahead and make your way to your stomach. And then hands underneath the shoulders, we'll do a little series of back bends. Pressing the toenails down towards the mat, we turn on the muscles of the quads. We start to feel the hips and the glutes engaged. Draw the belly button gently towards the spine and then lightly peel the chest up. Pause and then lift the hands. Relax the neck and take a round of breath. As you exhale, go ahead and lower the hands down to the mat. Turn one cheek to the side. Rest the head for just a moment. Round of breath. On your next inhale, prepare for our second round. Neutralize the neck. Loop the shoulders back and down. Feel the legs engage, the glutes engage. Draw the belly button gently towards the spine. And then gently peel the chest up. Option to lift the hands. Finding a round of breath. Relaxing the jaw and the tongue. And then lowering down, turning your opposite cheek to the side. This time, take the hands along the sides of the body. On your next inhale, take the head through center. And lift one leg, lengthen it back, place it down. Do the same thing on the other side. Lift, lengthen back, place it down. And then press either the back of the hands or the palms into the ground along the side of your hips and lift the legs. And they can be about hip width apart. You're lifting a little bit more from the inner thighs. And feel the strength of your low back and your glutes and your thighs. And now add in the chest. Very gently push into the hands to gently lift the chest. Try and keep the back engaged. You can keep the hands on the ground or lift the hands, turning the palms towards each other and maybe reaching a little bit further back towards the feet. Find 2 more rounds of breath at the top. And exhale to lower. Turn one cheek to the side, really nice. Then go ahead and bend your knees and windshield wiper the feet side to side. As the legs relax down, come back to all fours. And then a side stretch. Extend through the left leg, pushing the left toes into the ground. And now take your right shin and kickstand it over to the right. Spin to the big toe side of that left foot as the left hand reaches up towards the sky. So in a modified side plank here. Nice. I have a strong connection to the ground with that left foot. The edge of my left foot, the big toe mound side through that heel is pressing into the ground. And then reach the left hand alongside the ear. Good. And then inhale the left hand back up towards the sky. If you'd like, you can stay here, or maybe for a moment, lift the left leg up, push through the left heel. Try and feel your strength here. Notice if you're arching your back, try and draw the belly button towards the spine lightly, and then release. Nice work. Find a round of cat and cow, and then we'll switch sides. I'm just gonna rotate so you can see me a little bit better. But here, we're extending the right leg out. Once again, feel free to pad that left leg. So really strong energy pushing through the right leg. Left shin kickstands to the left and then spin to that big toe side of the right foot. Reach the right hand up towards the sky. Nice. Balance. We'll take a side stretch reaching alongside the ear, really long line from the right toes, the right edge of the foot, all the way down through the fingers, and then inhale the hand back up towards the sky. So feel free to stay right here if that's enough of a balance, or lift your right leg in line with the right hip, pushing through the heel. Nice. And then notice if you're arching the back and gently draw the belly button towards the spine. The breath moving from the crown of the head through the spine and out through that right foot. As you exhale, go ahead and return to all fours. A round of cat and cow. Nice. Swinging the legs off to the side. Make your way onto a seat. Plant the feet in front of you. And then slowly make your way onto your back. Drawing the knees in towards the chest. Draw some circles with your knees here. And switch the direction of your circles. As the legs come to neutral, go ahead and plant the feet onto the ground. Let the hands relax by the sides. The feet for this position today are going to be about hip width apart. And you might walk the feet a little closer to the hips until you feel like you can really press down through the heels of the feet. Take an inhale from here, and as you exhale, lift the hips. I like to bend my elbows here and push my upper arms into the mat, lifting my chest lightly, and then walk the shoulder blades underneath you. The elbows can walk closer to each other as you take these kind of karate chop arms, or if you like, you can interlace the hands underneath the body and walk the upper arms a little closer to each other. If you took the variation with the interlaced hands, have a gentle bend in the elbow and keep pressing the upper arms down. Relax the jaw. One more round of breath at the top. And as you exhale, go ahead and release the hands, lower the hips. Good. Walk the feet a little wider than the hips once again. Find this internal and external rotation like we did earlier when we were seated. And then knees back up through center. So this is a really nice one. If you do have a block or you do have a foam roller or any other, like a stack of little books, this can be a really nice low back release. So as we come into our second bridge pose, pushing through the heels, lifting the hips, I'm going to take one of my blocks, and at any of the levels that feels comfortable to me, I'm going to place that right underneath our sacrum. So that fused part of the spine. I'll know it's in the right position when it feels like it's not digging into my spine and it doesn't feel like it's digging into my glutes either. And then here you can just relax. You can keep the feet right where they are. You can walk the feet a little bit wider and let the knees knock in. Or you can take the knees up and extend the legs if you like a little bit more of a modified shoulder stand. If you don't have a block, keep your bridge pose active, pushing the upper arms down for another 2 rounds of breath. Nice. And then lower the hips down. And windshield wiper the feet once more. And draw the knees in towards the chest. We're going to take the knees wide towards the armpits. And then hands on the inside of the legs. You can grab the ankles or the outsides of the feet if they're accessible to you. This is happy baby. As you kick into the hands, you're going to pull the feet down towards the earth. You can also keep this a little bit more passive if you would like. And sometimes it feels nice to extend one leg and then the other. Or maybe both. Another 4 breaths in our child's pose. You can always just hold the knees wide. As you plant the feet down to the ground, you're just going to do a little bit of pelvic tilting. So working on the mobility of our hips, the functional mobility. You're going to arch your low back as your hip points. I like to take my hands to my two bony hip points right in front, and I feel those drawing towards my toes. And now I'm going to draw them back and down, well, towards the ground, and I feel my low back kind of flatten. So go ahead and do that a few times, feeling the low back arch and then flatten, just getting some movement through the pelvis there. Really good for our low back, for our sciatic nerve to have space. And then a neutral position. I want you to take that right hip and I want you to try and draw it up. It's going to be a very subtle feeling. And then lower it down. So now my left hip, I'm going to draw my left hip towards my left shoulder and then back down. Right hip reaches up, little spinal rotation, and then that left hip and neutral spine. Good. You can wiggle out the legs. And we'll end with a twist here. So as the knees draw in, hold onto your right leg and extend your left leg down. It's all mirror here. With just the knee hug, think about pressing that left thigh down towards the ground. Relax the neck, the jaw, the shoulders. Feel how with the knee hugging into the belly that as you breathe, as you find the full inhale and exhale, that you're feeling that compression against your inhales. Good, one more inhale here. And as you exhale, come into a twist. So take the left hand and pull the right leg across the body, coming into a twist. And there's lots of variations of twist here. You always have the option of supporting your twist by placing a blanket or a block or a bolster underneath that right leg for more support. And you have the option of lifting the head and turning the head to the right side and looking over to the right. Let the breath move in this gentle corkscrew effect of the spine. You feel the rotation, encouraging the rotation with your breath. And at the bottom of your exhale, we'll come back through center. And then extend the right leg down. And you can wiggle both legs for a moment. Take a little mini Savasana and just observe. Nice. And then slowly draw the left knee into the chest and give yourself a hug here. We'll pause in just the hug. The right thigh presses down. One more inhale from this position. And then as you exhale, come into your twist. So pulling the left leg across the body. Any twist variation that feels good to you here is an option. Feel free to take your time coming into a deeper twist. And if you want to add in a little more twist into cervical spine, you lift the head and then gently look in the other direction as you, in the direction of your left, as you place the head back down. Notice the breath and how this shape is affecting the whole of the body. At the bottom of your exhale, go ahead and come through center. Draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a nice strong hug here. So you might even lift the shoulder blades, draw the knees towards the chin. And as you exhale, release. If there are any other finishing shapes that you would like to take for your own practice, feel free to take a moment to do what you need to do. And when you're ready, I'll meet you in Shavasana. So Shavasana is our corpse pose. It's our rest pose. We just release. It might feel nice to place something underneath your knees or to elevate your head if your chest and shoulders are really tight. But as best you can, try and keep a neutral spine. And as you relax the jaw and the tongue, try and feel the weight of the brain at the back of the skull. Just letting it be very heavy. Draw your awareness into the left leg. And feel the left toes and the left foot and the left heel all becoming very heavy. Feel the weight of the left calf and shin. Observe the left knee and feel the weight of the left thigh. Relax into the left hip, the low back on the left side, and then into the left fingers, the left forearm, the left upper arm, and then the left side of the torso, and the heart and the stomach. Observe the right leg, allowing the right toes, the foot, the heel, all to be relaxed and heavy. Notice their weight. And let the left shin and thigh, the left leg be heavy. Observe the knee. We're on that right side, aren't we? And observe the right thigh, allowing the right thigh to be heavy. And then the right hip and low back. And let the right fingers and palm be heavy. The forearm, the upper arm. And then the right side of the body. Through the right chest and the liver, intestine. Now draw your awareness into your throat and let the throat relax. The muscles of the face very relaxed. And here we rest. And then as you're ready, you can slowly deepen your breath. If you would like a full body stretch, feel free to reach your hands up and overhead. Feel free to lengthen your legs away from you. And then you can hug the knees into your chest. You can rock up to a seat, or you can roll to one side and then press yourself up to a seat. Feel free to sit on something tall that allows the back to remain long and the heart gently lifted. And here in our meditative seat, take just a moment to observe the post-practice. And bringing hands into heart center. And gently lift the sternum. Take an inhale through your nose. And an exhale out your mouth. One more time, inhale through your nose. And exhale out the mouth. Good. And then bow the head gently, acknowledging the teacher within. Take a moment to genuinely thank yourself for making it here, onto your mat, to listen to what's going on inside. And as we lift the head, if you would like to join me for a closing Om, we'll take another deep breath in here for Om. Otherwise, you can just observe and listen. As we seal our practice, we ask that the benefits of our practice follow with us off the mat and into all areas of our lives. May we find strength, flexibility, mindfulness, and compassion for ourselves and for others today and every day. May this practice bring you peace and joy in all things. Thank you so much for being here.